Every hiring manager has heard the same generic answer to the question, why sales in tech sales interviews, okay? A lot of people will have genuine answers and think that they sound good. Answers like, I just love working with people, or I'm passionate about communication and speaking skills. I always have been. I like understanding human psychology. I want to better myself, sharpen my skills. I'm competitive. These are good things, right? They're not bad. They're not bad. But the thing is, what you have to realize is these employers and hiring managers, this is the same answers that they hear all the time. And what you don't realize is while stuff like this can be genuine, what these employers are actually looking for is something much deeper that a lot of people don't realize. And if you don't get this right, it's going to make or break your interview, because usually this question is asked early on, and it's literally what's going to set the stage for whether you have a good impression or a bad impression, okay? So I'm going to cover in this video how to answer it. I'm going to give you a template version and also show you how to find your deeper answer within, okay? So if you don't know me, I'm Chad. I've been in one of the most competitive tech sales companies in the space. I took it to 6 figures, 10K per month. I've generated millions and millions of dollars in annual recurring pipeline. And now I help people break into tech sales, beginners get into this industry from absolute scratch with no degree, no sales skills whatsoever, because that's just the reality of this space. If you want to download my free book, I wrote a free book, third link in the description. People have read that and literally broken into this industry alone. Don't take it lightly. Okay, so what these people are really looking for, what are these hiring managers and recruiters actually looking for? They're looking to see that you have drive. Okay, what is drive? Drive is something that gets you emotional, something that you have, which some people do have, that drives you to not be complacent, that drives you to seek for something greater in life. And a lot of times you probably don't even realize it, but most people who are attracted to sales as a career, as a role, as a vehicle, as a launch pad into entrepreneurship, whatever attracts you to it, as a skill acquisition mechanism, a lot of people who are attracted to sales have drive, right? They have drive. They want to go against the grain. They want to do something greater with life. They want to build skills, and they're willing to go through the hardships that a role like sales can entail because of the payoff, because of the leverage, because of the skills they can acquire, because of the freedom and autonomy that you can have if you're able to endure some of the emotional roller coasters that sales can have and the rejection, right? And so a lot of times you naturally have a drive, and I'm going to tell you how to access this, right? But if you can access it and realize it and be able to present it to these people, that's going to help them feel confident that you are a good candidate because you have a big enough drive to endure the hardships that a sales role has. Because yes, this role is simple, and this is actually one of the easiest ways that I've personally found after trying many businesses to make 10K plus per month. Okay, it was probably about 7 months into getting into the right role, which for me was HubSpot. I started making a six-figure income, right? It wasn't long after that I hit outlier like 10K plus per month, even just as an SDR alone, and then promoted into account executive where my first month I made like 18,700 gross. So this vehicle is lucrative. It really is. But you have to go through the hardships. And on the other side is going to be where the sunshine and rainbows are going to be. But that doesn't mean there's not going to be any hardships still. It's a role that constantly has ups and downs. It's constantly going up and down, okay? So more about that in my book if you want to read that. But anyways, so you can still say these generic things, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it, but you need to dig deeper. You have to dig deeper and actually uncover your real reasons for why you're getting into sales, okay? Are you obsessed with self-development? Are you someone who's been competitive all your life and feel like this is the only kind of role that you could like work for you, that you don't want to do some hourly job where you're just kind of like watching the clock, waiting till 6, being on your phone kind of just hour by hour, getting paid the same no matter how much energy you put in? Maybe you don't vibe with that. And I know a lot of people who watch my channel don't, as well as me, and that's why I got into sales. But you know, that could be what your reason is genuinely, right? Find out what your genuine reasons are. Are you someone who just wants to make shitloads of cash and be an entrepreneur, and you've realized that sales is the best vehicles to do that? That's okay to be honest about it, okay? I'm going to show you how to do that professionally. Did you have a painful childhood? Did you struggle with money growing up, right? Did you hone a drive that's unlike anyone else's because of your childhood struggles that makes you want to be competitive and do whatever it takes to be financially free and help your family, or just, be the best version of you possible to unlock your full potential, right? Whatever that genuinely is, you have to look a little deeper under the hood and see what that is, right? That's the trick to this, okay? So these are some examples I'm going to go through of the deeper elements that you need to get across when you answer this question, okay? You just need to get this across. Otherwise, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work because this is asked early in the interview process. They're either going to get a bad impression or a good impression of you. So if you nail this, it's actually going to make the rest of your interview process easier, because if you nail this, they're going to just be that much more confident that, you know what, regardless of the skills or traits that this guy has or this person has, this girl has, his why is so deep that I know he's going to show up every day and he's going to do what it takes to win, right? That's what you want to get across. That's the emotion you want them to feel. That's the belief you want them to obtain, okay? So here's one version of it, okay? And I was recently just working with a client on this, and his first answer was kind of the generic stuff that everybody says, obviously I love communicating with people, blah, blah, blah. And then I told him, let's go a step deeper, and this is where something unlocked in him, right? And he was able to deliver it amazingly, okay? And so this is a version you could say, all right? So why sales? Yeah, thanks for asking. Well, obviously I love, communicating with people, understanding human psychology, building confidence in my skills with speaking to people. And I feel like sales is a skill that amplifies every area of my life. But the real deeper reason why I'm driven to work in a sales role like yours is I didn't have the easiest upbringing. There were times when I pinched pennies and times that were tough. And experiences like that forced me to mature and start worrying about how to pay the bills at a pretty young age. And that's one of the reasons why I have such a drive now to seek financial stability and put my all into attaining it. And I know that in sales, you get paid in proportion to the energy you put in. And that's why I found that it's the best vehicle for me to pour that drive into for the long term. Right? So that's a deep answer. You see the power in that versus, yeah, well, honestly, I've always loved working with people, and, I love communications. I think sales is a good skill to learn. And, yeah, I feel like it's, I'm competitive, and it just, that's the reason why I want to get into sales. It's not deep enough. It's not deep enough, okay? I get fired up about this stuff. Guys, I've worked with so many interview coaches or recruiters, sales managers externally, and also learned so much interviewing at one of the most competitive companies in the space for both SDR and account executive, and work closely with these recruiters and managers as well, interviewing people externally and connecting with people externally. So I know a lot about what they're looking for. I've given so many people advice on how to break into companies of like big tech stature, okay? And so I just know that this answer is going to move them. It's going to move them. It's going to move them, okay? So even if you're an absolute beginner, everybody has this, right? If they see that your why is deep enough, they're not going to care what experience you have. Okay, they just aren't, all right? If you can just instill that confidence that, look, I'm going to show up every day, I'm going to do what it takes to learn, and I'm going to do what it takes to hit the activities that are expected of me. That's the space you want to pass them, right? And the way you can do that is, one of the ways is in this why sales, okay? So maybe you didn't have a hard upbringing. I'm going to give you another version, all right? I'm going to give you another version, all right? So version 2, why sales, right? And this is the other common one that people have is like, I want to make a lot of money, right? I want a lucrative career. I want to build skills, freedom, and I want to make a lot of money, okay? So why sales? Yeah, well, obviously, and you could say you're like surface level reasons here. Obviously, I love working with people, speaking with people. I've been competitive. I feel like sales is a meta skill that amplifies relationships, health, self-development, mindset, and all that stuff. But look, I know you've heard that a million times. Here's the deeper reason why I'm actually driven to work in sales, okay? To be honest, I really value financial stability. I've always had this massive itch to do something greater in life as well, right? I'm also very entrepreneurial, which, to be honest, it's not an easy path or future to obtain without mastering sales and the adversity that comes along with a sales role as well. And that's exactly why there's nothing that I'd rather do than go through the trials and tribulations necessary to become the person that I want to be long term, who has the skills, traits to attract the opportunities and financial stability I'm after for the long term. And I feel like sales is the best vehicle for me to become that version of me, and why I want to pour my energy and drive that I have to go all in on this. Right? So that's another answer you could do that maybe isn't about your childhood, but it's deep. It's pulling on those strings. You see what I mean? It's deep. It's hitting people in the gut. It's going, whoa, that's compelling, right? That's what you want, right? This is how you're going to stand out among hundreds and hundreds of applicants. There's other applicants out there. You're not the only one interviewing. And a lot of these, probably like 80% of these people, are giving surface level reasons without going deeper into the why. If you have a deep why, I'm sorry, you're actually going to be like a serious candidate they're going to consider, okay? So you see how deep these are? You almost want to get emotional with it, right? And if you can get this right, I promise you, it's going to change your whole trajectory. I guarantee you, it'll improve your conversion rates on landing a role, breaking in. Now, here's the thing. I don't want you to copy this word for word. You can take inspiration from the structure, but this is one of the biggest mistakes that people make when interviewing. They try and like template everything. They try and like, what's the best answer for this, and let me like copy that. Or they try and think like, what's the best answer that I could say even if it's not genuine? And that's a trap, because a lot of times people can smell that, right? What you don't realize is you actually have good answers already inside of you. And if you just ask yourself, what's my genuine reason? What's my genuine reason for wanting to get in sales? And then go a little deeper. What's the deeper genuine reason that I want to get in sales? And you have to actually uncover it for yourself, but that's where the best answer is going to come from. It's not going to be from anything I give you. It's going to be from you going in your brain and going deeper and asking yourself, what's the deeper reason why I actually want to get in sales? Maybe it's something so deep and so moving. And yes, it's okay to say this on the interviews. It's actually better. The more moving and emotional and the more even scary it is to say it, the more they're going to be blown away by it. And the more they're going to see you as a standout candidate that's going to fucking go in and crush this role. So this is one of the things that's going to set you massively apart from everybody else, okay? And financial stability is not a bad thing. It's okay to be motivated by money. In fact, if you're motivated by money and you communicate that to them, they're going to choose you over other people who don't communicate that, because sales employers love money-motivated reps because they can offer bonuses, they can offer you more money, they can increase your variable to get you to work more if they want. And that's something that they need. If somebody's not motivated by money, it just doesn't work in sales. It just doesn't work in tech sales, guys. If you're not motivated by money, what else? How can they motivate you to hit quota, right? They can motivate you by saying, yo, you're going to get a crazy paycheck, right? Here's a bonus. If you hit this amount of meetings, we're going to give you this amount of bonus too. They need these levers to pull. They want people who are money motivated. It's okay to be you. It's okay to be you. You want to make shitloads of cash. You want to be an entrepreneur one day, or you want a lucrative career to make hundreds of thousands of dollars per year, okay? In a way that gives you autonomy over your schedule and freedom, and that allows you to not have to spend 10 years in some school, right? So I hope you enjoyed this, guys. This is powerful stuff, all right? So I'm going to leave it there. Sharpen your why for sales and get these roles, okay? So if you want to learn more about working with me one-to-one, if you're someone who feels like you're overwhelmed by this all and you feel like you want help with each stage of the process and nuances and all of this stuff, presenting yourself, interviewing, finding the right companies, and not settling for a company that gives you fake on-target earnings, then the first link in the description is to book a call with me directly, where it's a free call. We literally just chat and see if it even makes sense to talk about my mentorship and how that works and how it works for me to work with you. I've helped many people break into this space in just a matter of weeks. For some people, it takes months. Everybody's different. But if you're wanting one-on-one help and you want to kind of fast track this, click the first link in the description. That's the best way to work with me. Actually, right now, I probably am closing off these applications in just a day because I have a certain amount of clients that I can help at once. So if you're interested and you see that there's a slot available, that means that there's room to book with me and work with me at that time. But I do close it off. So if you're trying to get in now, check it out. Okay, so the second link in the description is my live community. This is for people who maybe aren't in a place where they have funds to invest in one-on-one mentorship. It's a more viable option that still helps you in a hands-on way, okay? In that community, there's a full A to Z course that I've built that literally is walking you through the entire process of breaking into tech sales through the digital screen, okay? I share my screen. I show you how to show up on interviews. I show you what to say in interviews. I show you how to find the right roles and vet them out and make sure they're actually ones that are aligned. And on top of that, once a week, we have a meeting live, a group call, where basically everybody on that call gets attention and gets their questions answered if you're stuck. Okay, so check that out in the second link in the description if you're in a place to want to explore that. And again, third link in the description is my free book if you don't want to invest in anything at all. And check that out. It's, people have gotten amazing results. You can check them out on that page too, just by reading it alone. And so check that out. It has a lot of belief shifts too that can help you really believe in yourself. Okay, that's one of the biggest things about it. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to check out another video from me that goes into more depth, check out one of the ones on screen. I'm out for now. Take care. Bye.